So I have my tissue. Likelihood of me crying is high, very, very high. So don't worry if I cry, I'll be okay. Many along my journey this year have cried along with me, so if that's you, I thank you ahead of time. See, look at that. As an elementary school teacher, yesterday shook me. So before I address you, allow me the moment to address our country's educators and soon-to-be educators in the wake of this senseless tragedy in Uvalde, Texas, at Robb Elementary School. The great American poet, Nikki Giovanni, addressed the Virginia Tech community and said, "No one deserves a tragedy." And certainly no two tragedies are the same, but often there are lessons in one that can help us make sense of what is in front of us. With 30+ school shootings this year alone, this is a tragedy that for educators and school communities is becoming far too habitual and frequent. Today, I will share her words, and I will interchange Virginia Tech for educators, because we are all here to say that all children and educators have a right to feel and be safe in our schools, and that society has the responsibility to act now. Last night, my heart and my body was thinking of all the teachers that today had to confront this reality because our society is unsure of how to unite to pass gun safety measures. Educators alone do not have the tools to keep our students safe. I thought of families who will drop off their children to school, instilling their hope in the daily action of school, and the sadness, fear, and anguish they must have felt this morning. I think of the students who dream of a better tomorrow. That tomorrow starts with us today. So thank you, Maestra Giovanni, for these words I'm about to share that will guide us. We are sad today, and we will be sad tomorrow. We are not moving on. We are embracing our mourning. We are educators. We are strong enough to stand tall, tearlessly, and brave enough to bend a cry, and sad enough to know we must laugh again. We are educators. No one deserves a tragedy. We are educators. The education community embraces our own and reaches out with an open heart and hands to those who offer their hearts and hands. We are strong and brave and innocent and unafraid. We are better than we think and not quite what we want to be. We are alive to the imagination and possibility. We will continue to invent the future through our blood and tears and in all the sadness. We are educators. We will prevail because we are educators. Thank you, Nikki Giovanni, for those beautiful words. So prevailing also means celebrating. Celebrating is part of the rising of our next steps. So we celebrate today, knowing our hearts can carry this together. And if you grant me some grace, I'm going to bring in my early childhood educator self to this stage. I need a little bit of participation. This is something I do with my students. So give me one thumbs up if you are ready to hold the heaviness and move forward. And give me another thumbs up if you're ready to act on this heaviness. Go ahead and put them together. Open your wings and fly away. All right, so now, if you are a graduate or you're graduating tomorrow, can I get a little wave? Look at all those stars out there. This is for you. So buenas tardes to each and every one gathered here to celebrate the outstanding class of 2022. Here they are. Graduates, you are looking good. Never have I seen a more diverse and brilliant group of graduates, and I couldn't be more proud to be here today. Whew, thank you, graduates, for all of your hard work and your vision and your dedication. Thank you, Dean Long. Thank you, faculty. Thank you, families and loved ones and guests. I am the third special education teacher to be National Teacher of the Year, and most likely the first bilingual and the first Latina to hold this distinction. And it has meant the world to me to represent special education teachers and students who learn and think differently, as well as linguistically gifted, I'll say that again, linguistically gifted communities and the Latinx communities of US and Colombia. I got some more Colombianas out there, yeah. Graduates, you've made it through, and during one of the most challenging times our educational landscape has ever seen. And wow, am I delighted and proud to have this opportunity to celebrate you and the future impact you'll have on countless communities. Tomorrow is your day. And I want you to take it all in and think of those that have walked before you so you can walk that stage tomorrow. Think of those that are walking with you, reminding you that you are worthy, capable, and enough. And I want you to think of those who wait for you on the other side of that stage. Those waiting for you on the other side of that stage are your future students, the most deserving, the most beautiful students who will love you endlessly and teach you your most beautiful and invaluable life lessons. Those awaiting for you on the other side are also the educators that depend on your advocacy to help us sustain our practice and hope. Educators ready to amplify their expertise to better serve our students and communities. Whether your journey takes you to a classroom, school leadership, higher education, a museum, research, starting your own business or nonprofit, we are all educators and forever will be educators because we collectively have the responsibility to center joy and justice for every single child, family, and community. Educators, I want you to take this moment in. Think of those seres queridos, those loved ones with you here today, who will be here with you tomorrow, maybe physically, maybe afar, or maybe in your heart. Hold them tight. And if they are able to join you today, I want you to look at them now and let that little twinkle in your eye, AKA a tear, let that hold the gratitude you feel for their presence. Go ahead. Yeah, it's important. Eso, así se hace. It is said that the opposite of uncertainty isn't, oddly enough, certainty. It's presence. And during these most difficult times, we know the power of presence. Thank you all for being present today. It's people who show up for us that make the difference. For me and my students, my students and their families have taught me 3 incredible lessons that I'd be honored to share with you today. My students have taught me that what matters the most is first, our humanity, our students' humanity. Secondly, our collective hope. And thirdly, that there's incredible power in the work we do together. What does it mean to be an educator, to hold the infinite potential of our humanity in the humanity of each child we teach? There's a quote that has become my mantra for remembering the humanity in our students. Dicen los escritores que el océano cabe en una gota y la historia en una página. Many writers say the entire ocean fits in a drop of water, and all of history fits on a single written page. Hoy yo digo que en cada niño, niña, niñe cabe la esperanza de la humanidad. Today I say in each child exists the hope of our humanity. Again, what does it mean to be an educator, to hold the infinite potential of our humanity in the humanity of the children we teach? Remember, it's like Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. In other words, every child we teach is not a drop in the ocean. They are the ocean unto themselves. The entirety of the ocean is within them. With you all leading our classrooms and schools, our future hope is in excellent hands. My hope was also in excellent hands, as I had teachers that inspired me and saw the ocean in me too. I'm going to tell you a story about finding my voice and my humanity. A journey that could only be possible with excellent educators and mentors that believe in me. In 2009, I stood in a similar place today. I stood in front of my graduating class at the University of Arizona and attempted to give the student address. When I say attempted, I actually mean I cried through the entire speech. I was so fraught with anxiety about the changing political landscape in Arizona, specifically English-only propositions voted into reality that would impact the kind of bilingual programs I dreamed of teaching. When I stood there, overwhelmed with the charge of being a bilingual teacher in a seemingly world that did not want us to hold on to our languages and identities, where I was concerned about massive deportations and family separations, I broke down about the gravity of supporting an unknown group of students that I had already preemptively fallen in love with. See, it's this combination of resilience needed to be myself at the moment, and my public speaking anxiety overtook me. My throat closed, I shut down, and the poor ASL interpreter only had inaudible signs to sign. They looked like this. I'll never forget that. Yet somehow I powered through my speech. Somehow I stood tall and shared my visions of a school system that would honor brown and black and indigenous students and their families. But to be honest, I buried deep inside that anxiety and that sense of overwhelm of how to change a system. I went on to teach many, many students to hold on to their pride of identity, language, and humanity, but never fully addressing how heavy that charge is, and yet always knowing intuitively that it was possible to show up as our best selves. My motivation was that the weight would lessen for my students, but these buried feelings would be sure to pop up again. Amazingly enough, my public speaking anxiety did not preclude me from becoming National Teacher of the Year, even though I have needed to address my own healing in order to tap into the power of my voice and my story. Although I might have set some kind of world record for the most times cried in a speech, I cried at the White House and live on CBS twice, and in front of many rooms of educators during my keynotes this year. What I had learned is that many of us needed and wanted to cry because we do not carry the weight of a brighter future alone. Somehow, my vulnerability gave me the strength to face the ails and the celebrations with a little bit more humility. It was connecting to our most vulnerable humanity that allows us as learners and teachers to show up for our students as our fullest selves. I stand before you having completed a full circle as someone who still feels anxiety for the health of our communities and school systems and still sometimes feels overwhelmed about the task of building spaces where all children thrive and are embraced alongside their identities. I stand beside you as someone who believes in the power of educators to use our own healing to come out a little bit stronger, better, and more capable of serving our diverse communities. But my full circle is bigger than just my own experience. Educator, our full circle is in motion. Our schools are becoming more centered around our students' humanity. School systems are becoming more inclusive, more dignified for our students and their families. Today in Arizona and across the country, bilingual and multilingual programs are growing abundant. Our teaching force is becoming more representative through programs like Grow Your Own Teachers. Our systems are shifting to create a healthier support for students and teachers. But it's not without contest. It is with great strength and determination we hold safe that space of a holistic education for all. We know it's still not a reality for all. Yet the seeds are sowing and opportunities are growing. As a first-generation student, I, alongside with my family, navigated a whole new world when we left Colombia. And just like so many of my students, my family left our country to seek safety from a civil war. As a child, I remember feeling the pressures of assimilation, and that terms like English language learner were way too small to capture my family's brilliance and the linguistic gifts of so many like us. My journey inspired me to find ways to heal with community, to build bridges, to acknowledge and honor the brilliance that has always been here. We are not just ELLs, we are linguistically gifted. I have learned that there is immense joy in creating spaces where we all belong just as we are. And I've learned that justice is the collective caring for everyone's wellness while not dodging the accountability we need to build better systems. Justice is deeply learning the historical context of communities within our school. It's ensuring we reframe frames that don't humanize and uplift us. And I have found my own personal healing in using terms like linguistically gifted. Justice is that term that holds spaces for Indigenous languages, African American vernacular English, American Sign Language, and all the languages of our students and their families. Justice is creating educational spaces that respond to our students' humanity and creativity. Every child deserves a joyous and just education that gives them what they need to succeed while uplifting family and community. And we all have a powerful and unique way of bringing joy and justice to every child in our classrooms. The lineage of joy and justice isn't just mine. It's the work of countless people, of teachers, of activists, linguists, students, families, and more. Joy and justice belongs to us all. And sometimes we can't see this progress of joy and justice because we're in constant motion. But we are walking and moving. You are making beautiful things happen. And the best way for us to hold this truth is to brightly show up each day, to build the learning spaces that welcome and nurture your students' deepest and fullest humanity. My students have taught me that our humanity brings us closer to them, not farther. They have also taught me that from seeing our humanity, we exercise our hope so that we don't lose ourselves in learning. I'd like to share my reminder of hope that I carry each and every day with me as I step into a classroom in hopes that it will remind you of the hope within you. There's always hope as long as we're disciplined to create it with our students. After all, how could Alice Walker ever be wrong? She says, hope is our best teacher that gives us our toughest homework. So one day, it was the first day of school, a very hectic day, and a student from our garden Know-Me club, gnomes that are homies, Know-Me's. Yep, we were legit. A student from our garden Know-Me club ran up to me while I was trying to help the mothers find the right teacher for their child. Madness. I was one of the only teachers on campus that spoke Spanish, but we made it happen. Through all of that chaos, Kimberly comes up to me and quietly slips a sweet potato in my hand. I looked down, and I was a little bit surprised and confused. As soon as it was possible, I went to her to ask her to tell me more about this curious sweet potato. She looked up at me so very proud and said, "Miss Earth, I spent all summer investigating ways to grow sweet potatoes, just like you showed me in garden club. I wanted to bring you my very first one." She gave me her first one, best gift ever, because it was a tremendous reminder of hope, of what it means to be an educator. Kimberly reminded me that the impact of our teaching is always growing, that when it's time to dig up those camotes, those sweet potatoes, there's always abundance. Sweet potatoes grow underground, and their vine are sometimes very thinly leafed. It kind of reminds me of the resources we have in our classroom. But anyway, the vines are thin enough to make you doubt yourself, doubt your impact. But then, when harvest time comes around, there is joy and bounty. Kimberly reminded me of why we spent countless hours making sure our students had a beautiful outdoor garden to learn in. She reminded me of the importance of joy and wonder and awe in learning. The need for just spaces that allow us all to grow in our brilliance, just as we are. And I think memories have a funny way of guiding us. Maybe it's our mind's way of showing us hope is always tucked away, always growing underground, even during difficult times. So I want you to think of a student that showed up for you to remind you of your why and your hope. And on the count of 3, we're gonna say their names together. We're gonna bring them inside this tent. Listos? 3, 2, 1, go. To be honest, when I'm struggling, hope is not something I'm always ready to receive. It's often others like Kimberly, even all these years later, that gently remind me the power of hope. It's why we thrive in community. Mary M. Kaba, an abolitionist and an activist, reminds us that hope is a way of living. She says, hope doesn't preclude feelings of sadness or frustration or anger or any other emotion that makes total sense. Hope is not an emotion. Hope is not optimism. Hope is a discipline that we have to practice every single day. So remember, educators, you hold the power of our humanity and the power of our hope. Once we understand our humanity and exercise hope, only then are we able to embrace collective work that transforms. And here's what I want you to know about the power of collective work. And it's the same conversation I had with my students and their families as we built our beautiful garden. Collective work is a space where every individual matters. Our contributions are all of equal value. It's the only place we can shine together. In the garden I co-constructed with my school community, we built it together. It was built by students, their families, and staff, slowly and together. We loved calling ourselves the Nomies. As the garden bloomed, so did our students' interests, our colleagues' creativity, families' sense of welcome. Together, we filled our school with possibilities. Every carrot we pulled out of the soil was confirmation that this work is only done together. It's only possible in collective. The act of sharing this space beautifully encapsulates the power of coming together for a collective goal. In our garden, our collective goal was to ensure every child thrived. Today, our collective goal is not only to celebrate your accomplishments, but also for us to be on this path of building a more joyous and just education for all students together. The lessons of the garden are lessons for life. Graduates, thank you for believing in our students and their families and the collective power of transforming the world. When we transform the world around us, the world inside of us also transforms. I believe education, now more than ever, has the ability to transform. In the face of marginalization, educators build classrooms that include and encourage all students to learn and grow. We nurture our students' identities as a point of pride. We humanize our students with their families. We know that with the right access, all of our students can soar. I embrace you all and thank you from the bottom of my corazoncito for being on this journey with me. We have persevered. We have taught through challenges that seemed too big to carry alone. Class of 2022, your full circles are just beginning. You have the power to ensure circles of joy and justice encircle and embrace every single student with their family, every colleague, and every member of our community. Let us continue forward, proudly carrying the power of collective hope and humanity, the power of our collective work. I cannot wait to see you stand in your power and change the world with your students. Muchísimas gracias, felicidades, thank you, and congratulations.